are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hi, Wanderers. Look, I'm in the studio here at KGRA headquarters, hanging out with our guests that we get to hang out with every single month. It's so good. Hello, how are you guys? How is everyone doing? What a week it's been. I feel so much energy this week. It's tangible. We'll have to talk about that tonight. But hi, I'm AJ Rasmussen, and I'm your host. And we are live here on KGRADB.com and over on video on KGRA Facebook and YouTube pages. And you can join in the conversation and hang out with us on either of those platforms, at least for the first 30 minutes. If you want to listen to us longer, I have a really great offer for you guys that I'll be sharing here closer to the break. But in the meantime, it's our special night where we have one of your favorite guests with us. Like I said, she gets to visit with us every single month. Her name is Misty Rose Merck. And that also means that the phone lines are all open for you to call in for a reading, an energy reading. They're different from psychic medium readings. They are energy readings, and they're my favorite kind because they actually go with what is going on with you right here and right now. So helpful. However, tonight we are changing things up a little bit, and the phone lines will be open not just for readings, but for questions as well. So if you have questions for Misty specifically or myself specifically, but spirit, or if you have questions regarding spirituality or anything metaphysical, any type of journey questions, our lovely guest is going to be answering those for you. And maybe I'll chime in every now and then. We'll see how it goes. You just never know when you're soul wandering how that works out. But yeah, questions are open as well as readings. So before we begin, a little bit about our guest. Misty is a certified Usuri Holy Fire Reiki Master, life coach, heart-centered therapy practitioner, and she's a spiritual intuitive. And like I said, each month she gets to hang out with us, and she offers these intuitive readings to us here on air. And you just call in and Misty will read your energy for you. And that means a lot of things. So I've had questions post-show how Misty reads, even though we explain it quite a bit. So really quickly, actually, Misty, I'll just have you do it. Hi, welcome back.
Hello.
I was going to explain how you do this, but nobody knows better than you.
Well, when I work with people, what I like to say is I'm using the skills that I have as an energy worker and a life coach. And then I'm also using the gifts and talents that I have, which is I perceive energy and I receive messages. And I do so by getting things as feelings, thoughts, emotions, pictures, images, and at times even angels. And what that can look like is hearing music play with specific lyrics. Seeing a scene from a movie where they were having a particular experience or a dialogue was happening. And then it's kind of like getting all of this different content as puzzle pieces. And if I'm in tune and listening, I'm able to fit these pieces together that then makes this kind of a snapshot that gives me a little sense of, okay, so this is what this is what they feel like. This is kind of where they are. This is a little bit of what has happened. This is what's going on. This is what's coming. And it all kind of flows together kind of like a collage in some ways of these kind of different components. And so that it is unique because with each reading and each person, because everybody's in different places, personalities are different, experiences and emotions and different things are going on. So at the end of the day, energy flows and follows with attention and intention. And my intention is what's for this person, what's for people's highest good, what is going to help you most right now in life. And from that place, we've all been in an experience where we have a great experience with someone or something, and then we leave the event or the experience or the person's presence, and then we go back to life as usual. I don't just want people to have a nice experience or have a great experience. I want to then provide them with, these are tools, these are suggestions, this is stuff that I know can support you to then move through whatever has come up in a session. Because I want people to feel empowered. I want them to feel like they have a choice, that they're not just stuck. And for me, knowledge is power, because the more we know, the more choices we have. The more choices we have, the freer we are. And so my sessions are geared around, how do we help you with whatever is most important to you right now?
Yeah.
And then from there, how do we help you move where you want to go?
You said it a lot better than I could have. That was perfect. And that's what I love about the time spent with you, because it is so unique and so different than, let's say, if I went to a psychic or a medium or a card reader, because those are, the energy definitely is read, but they're more predictions. Like, it's great to have the information and to have the connection with a loved one. Absolutely. But what do I do with it then? Like, how does it help me grow? How do I become a better version of myself? With readings, the way that you offer them, you really are tapping into my energy and seeing things that I may not even see clearly for myself. And so that right there is beneficial to me, so I can have a different viewpoint of what I'm going through or what I'm growing through, whatever that is for me in that moment. And that's why I appreciate the way that you show up so differently. I mean, every reader has a place. Definitely. I'm not saying anything negative about any of them. They're all beautiful if they're working from their heart, right? I just really thoroughly appreciate and enjoy the types of readings that you have to offer.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you're doing the work, sister. And that's the beautiful thing, is you're not just showing up doing these readings. You're actually going through things yourself. You're putting forward movement into your experiences to become a better version of yourself in addition, which speaks volumes to me, because there are readers out there who are really great at their gift, but I don't see them doing the work. And I know that they go hand in hand. My heart knows that to be true. And also, I also see some of the energy get mixed up, their energy with my energy. So where they're delivering a reading for me, I really feel like it probably would be for them, because that happens. It does happen when you're not, doing the work and clearing that space.
Yeah. Well, anything that we share can always be self-applicable, because whatever we're experiencing in others is in us to one degree or another. But yeah, I ended up where I am because I was in experiences, and I didn't just want help, I needed help.
Mhm.
I needed support, I needed guidance. And none of the things that I've experienced, classes, teachers, books, mentors, leaders, speakers, all of that stuff, healers, energy workers, none of them were my guru, like Tony Robbins says, I'm not your guru. And none of them were my end destination. None of them were the source of my healing. They were all tools. They were all support. They were all guides on the road of my journey,
Mhm.
but it all came from within. The beauty is sometimes we are our biggest blind spot. So
Mhm.
those guides ended up being the mirror I needed, the information that sent me in the right direction, all of those things. And so I don't stand where I stand because, oh, I was born with a gift or it just hit me like a ton of bricks one day. I stand where I stand because I went through some things. I needed help. I went in search of answers because it was that or die. Like, life just was crap.
Mhm. Right?
It was terrible because it wasn't living, it was existing, and it's not a fun way to live. It's a
Mm-mm.
very painful, depressing way to live, and I did deal
Mhm.
with depression. But it I wanted different. I wanted it bad enough
Yeah,
because that's how it has to start. Until we
it
can get
does.
to a place of awareness, it's starting with wanting it bad enough, so desperate for things to change, things to stop, for the pain to end. And then you get going, and after a while, you don't need pain as much as a motivator because you become self-motivating.
Right.
Am I that way all the time? Mm-mm.
No. Are
Mm-mm.
any of us?
No.
No.
And I go through lulls. There's points of Speedy Gonzalez and then Turtle. You're just slow and kind of tucked in and holding on for dear life.
Mhm.
But I recognize I signed up for the ride, and I'm not getting off. And so it's why I stand where I stand. I am a firm believer that our mess that we experience throughout the time and phases of our life become our mess edge.
Yes. Yes. That exactly.
And we've all learned from people who taught from what they learned from a book or other people. And you can learn a wealth of information that way. And then we've all learned from people who went through it.
Yes.
We learned from someone who learned through firsthand experience. And they were always the most effective, most moving, most heartfelt, mind shattering teachers. They're the ones we remember with nostalgia or inspiration
Mhm.
or, gratitude. And there's a reason experience gives you a voice of authenticity. It makes you believable.
Yeah.
And so, that's for me, that's what's brought me where I am, and a good portion of why I do what I do. And I've reached a point where I can't settle and I don't want what I used to have. It's a shoe that no longer fits, and trying to put it on, it's just so uncomfortable. You just have to get it off.
Yes. Yes.
So it almost leaves you with no other option but to move forward.
My heart is so resonating with everything you're saying. It really does become something. There's something about this journey that when you really do some work on yourself, there's no way in hell you're going backwards. There's no way it's going to happen because you know what that felt like and you know how amazing this feels like. Granted, we do, because patterns, habits, behaviors aren't overnight changed.
Yeah.
But intentionally, like, why would we? Why would we do that to ourselves?
It happens sometimes with people. I've seen it.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's not
we are
the
human
norm,
after
I
all,
don't
but
think. But sometimes people, it all stems from fear.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Marianne Williamson said it well when she said, "It's not our darkness we fear, it's our light."
Mhm.
And that's one thing that I have seen on this journey. And I know I do this in some version, and I'm in ways that I'm unconscious of. So that makes it so much easier to pick it out when I see it in others.
Yeah.
But sometimes what I see is some people who get to a certain level of awakening, and then it's like they park their car and they live from that place, and then they kind of use some of the skills and tools in a way that becomes manipulative instead of enriching and blessing,
Mhm.
because they're wanting to stay where they are.
Yeah.
So of course they have to keep people there with them, you know,
Mhm.
so that they're not alone, and they can still, because everything comes from relationship.
Mhm.
Everything we have in life comes from a relationship with other people, the earth, and other living things, and whatnot. And so you can't exist on your own and be a part of receiving very well.
Yeah.
And so, and then the other thing is, like you were saying, some people they're good at sharing the content that they've received, but they're not using it themselves.
Mhm.
And I really feel, in order to make any real progress, you have to use it. And last year was so much change.
Mhm.
It seemed all about, getting that hindsight to create change. This year, I feel so strongly called to live my talk, to walk it, and
Yeah.
seeing how not I see all the ways I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
I'm becoming very clear about what I'm not doing, and it all matters. It does. It's just like that phrase that they've had for years when it comes to doctors: "Physician, heal thyself,"
Yeah.
because it's difficult to offer what you lack. Which is why when we go and have experiences and gain all of this knowledge and stuff, we love sharing it with others, because we have an abundance of this and we want to share it. But when we're in struggle with something, we don't have an abundance of that yet, and it's hard to give what we don't have.
Exactly.
So it's a multifaceted why to behaviors and experiences.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. Definitely. There's so many layers.
Mm-hmm.
So many layers. I want to give out the phone number real quick before we carry on with our conversation. If you are interested in receiving a reading live here with Misty Rose Merck, or if you have a question about anything that we are discussing, or even want to just call in and have a comment about it, please do. The number is 85KGRA Live, which is 855-472-5483. I have a question for you, Misty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is no disrespect to anybody. It's just an observation that I have witnessed recently when there is someone or a group of someone who are working so hard on healing, right? It's like everything that they forget to be human. Like they forget to enjoy like the moments of what it feels like to be human. They're so caught up in the healing that everything, like as an observation, like feels kind of dramatic to me. Not to take away from what they're feeling or what they're experiencing, because it may be very much that, but constant, I guess, drama is how I've come to define it from the observation. And it's like everything. That's like all they're doing is working on the healing part, which I appreciate. I think it's beautiful. You want to do that. But where do you find the balance between healing on your past experiences or trauma or whatever that looks like, and also being present in the human experience.
And you said it, it's balance. That's the key. And understanding that all non-working behaviors has a payoff. It's the only reason why we do it. We are beings of stimulation. And we, conscious or unconscious, are doing the things we do because there's a payoff and a benefit to it. So we can want the healing, but have such a hard time with letting go of the pain, the experiences, or some aspect of what it is we're desiring to let go of, because we are so attached to it. Mm-hmm. We're so used to it. Mm-hmm. And we can become addicted to it, because our whole system runs off of chemical responses, and we have chemical responses to positive things and negative things. Mm-hmm. And so the question is, why do they find themselves seeking that out? Mm-hmm. And it's going to be kind of a case by case. Yeah, you've got a lot of similarities, but it will always be case by case, because what drives us is unique to us. And we humans have lots of similarities, but we also have a lot of very unique aspects. But it all stems from fear and balance. Mm-hmm. Fear is the why we're stuck in the non-working behaviors. Balance is the solution. And, part of that payoff from the description of what you're describing is they don't have to be present. Then it would be, why don't they want to be? Mm-hmm. You would just keep asking those questions of, why do you not want to be present? What is it that you're afraid of facing here? And a lot of times they're so used to feeling broken, they're uncomfortable with feeling whole. They're so used to having the drama that when the drama isn't there, it feels uncomfortable because they're not used to the different way. Mm-hmm. And then that's where you'll see people get into these repetitive patterns or get stuck in a situation where they're recreating something, or they keep the reality is part of the healing process is to become present. So if they're not being present, then in some aspects they're not fully absorbing the healing. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of becomes it's a multifaceted why, but again, you nailed it on the head. Balance. Mm-hmm. And how we create that balance is unique to each and every one of us. For some people, it's to go for a hike. For some, it's to read a book. Some, it's to go clean a room. That thing that helps them process energy and slow down. Mm-hmm. Meditation, prayer, art, music. It can be anything and everything. But basically anything that helps you to slow down, quiet the mind, and become aware of all of yourself. The components of self, the mind, the heart, the body, the soul. Right. We're a soul with a vehicle called a body, with a steering wheel called a mind, and a fuel tank called a heart that, gets us there. The emotions drive us. The mind is a focusing tool. I feel like I went on a little bit of a squirrel moment there.
No, that's great. I just don't even I don't even know if they understand that they're in that pattern of behavior, right?
Most of the time we don't.
There have been times in my life where I feel like I've been working so hard on the healing. Like I'll open the closet door, see a box, and just open it, and all this stuff comes out, and I'm like, oh, I've got to work on this, got to work on this, got to work on that. But that's not how I do things anymore. I found that to be counterproductive to the actual journey for me personally. And I think it's just a very individual experience for each and every one of us. And so, just coming from a place of not judging the other on how they choose to have their healing journey is so important. And showing up and supporting them in any way we can that's healthy and productive.
Well, I think when we start our journey, we start like that very often because we're excited. Mm-hmm. And then also there's so much that we feel like we want to address. It's like walking into a room or a closet, mm-hmm. like you're saying, when you want something different and you start work and you get all gung-ho at first. Mm-hmm. Wisdom is to know that slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is. Everybody's healing journey is different, and they're the way we move through things will always be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, actually, it's not even a thinking. I know that compassion is such a big deal, right? Having compassion for one another when we choose to even look at our experiences and decide to heal that. Compassion for ourselves and compassion for others. So completely important. And we'll get more into this, I'm sure, when we get back from the break. But because KGRA now is members only for the full entire show, you guys are going to want to jot down this promo code that I'm about to give to you, because you're going to get 30% off your annual memberships if you use the promo code SOUL21, which is SOUL21 for your annual membership. If you aren't interested in the annual membership and you're wanting to just try a month and see how it goes, you can use the word WANDER for your monthly subscription. However, you do save more money with that annual membership, so it's really worth it. Here's some more information as we take you guys out to break, and we'll see you on the other side.
This is Bill Skywatcher, producer at KGRADB.com. If you would like to continue to watch this program in its entirety, you need to go over to the KGRADB.com website and sign up today to become a member for the exclusive video content. We hope you enjoyed this program, and we hope to see you on the KGRADB.com members area. Have a great night, everyone.
Hey members, the new KGRA-DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA-DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA-DB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, the KGRADB.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us over here on KGRADB.com. We're so happy to have you. Tonight's one of our favorite nights where we have our guest, Misty Rose Merck, who shares time with us, offering intuitive readings, energy readings here on air when you call in. Plus, tonight we are answering questions. So if you have a question specifically to topics we've discussed here in the past, between Misty and I, or, on any show, maybe we can assist with those answers. So if you have something related to spirituality, maybe you're questioning if you are an intuitive, if you have an experience that you're wanting some advice on, Misty has a lot of great information and is here ready to take your call. So if you are interested in calling, the number to do so is 855-472-5483, which is 85KGRA Live, if that's easier to memorize. Also, if you're here with us on video, you'll be able to see that number here on the screen. Thanks to our great producer, Bill. Bill, you're awesome. I have a great team here. I absolutely have a great team here. So Misty and I are in the same room, and we're going to try to look at the cameras, not each other. It's a little confusing. We're hanging out here on the KGRA headquarters. It's a really cool place to be. I did my shows here every single week for years until our amazing other producer, Eric, had a little setback, but he is healing. So when he gets back, I'll be back in the studios, and I cannot wait. I'll be looking forward to that. I love spending time with him and being in the studios here. It's a cool place to be. So Misty. I talked about in the beginning of the show, like energies this week. In particular, it's been like the last 2 weeks, but specifically this week, like you can feel, like literally feel the energy. Something's shifting, something's changing. Do you feel that same thing? Your mic switch is, it's what happens when we chat during the break.
Are we back?
There
we
are.
go. The button, dang it.
We've all done it.
Well,
We're all
there's different buttons
guilty.
on different seats, and they do different things. And so you're used to one way, and now you have me with the new way. It's confusing. But, it's, for me, this week has been a lot of getting ready to release something. And it's been
lots
great
of releasing
and raw and uncomfortable. So yes, I would say I agree. It's been, this week has been a pretty big week, with many different things. It started for me actually this weekend. I went to a little bit of a retreat where we went and visited some sacred Native American sites, where some tragedies had happened, and to see the healing that's being created in places that some pretty horrific things had happened. We went to see the Bear River Massacre site where the Shoshone tribe had been killed.
Been there, yeah.
But one of the elders, he has bought several hundred acres of land, and they're going to create a beautiful space. It's going to have an amphitheater, a pavilion, a learning center, and memorials, as I understand it. And then we came together as a tribe, the group of people that I was with, and we learned some things, discussed, and created space where we had a sacred circle where people could speak of what they were learning and what they were healing from, and their journeys. And so that kind of set the tone for this week for me. And then I'm going to be doing several healing sessions this week. So it's pretty it's pretty impactful. And again, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's going to find themselves in different spaces as the energy in the world moves and shifts. For some people, it's going to be like what I'm doing right now, where it just is, a lot of work and a lot of action, and taking action to create opportunities and create healing. For some people, it's going to be decompressing and relaxing and getting real quiet and kind of withdrawing from the world, almost like a bear in a cave for hibernating. And then for other people, it's going to, oh, yeah, okay. And they just kind of go on with life. We're all in different phases. What's going to be deep work for one will just be deep rest for another. And for some, it'll be very business as usual because of, maybe they didn't need the energy to move through their life that way at this time.
Right.
But don't mistake that as though you aren't getting anything either, because I believe energy isn't passing us. It's moving through us. And sometimes we're receiving that energy to be used at a later time. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes so much sense. Yes.
That's why I think don't compare your journey and where you are, especially when you can hear people talking about maybe you're at an event and there's all these people there and everybody's talking about all this, and that. And you feel like, well, nothing's really happening for me yet. It's right now. I can't tell you how many times something has hit me later or come up for me later, because that was when it was going to serve me best. And that's how I feel everything that's happening in life is. It's always moving and working with the intention of what is going to serve you best. Maybe not necessarily what you want or need, but what is best for you.
And that's just it too. You brought up that it's such a personal journey, and each of us are on different paths. We're at different places. We're on different levels. And that's the thing, right? The comparison, like comparing where we're at compared to someone else, where none of us started at the same place to begin with. So there's no way that it's even realistic to compare ourselves to someone else.
Even identical twins have something that is uniquely them.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You have a lot of things that are similar, but you cannot fully 100% compare, because there is still enough different to make the comparison impossible. In fact, I was having a conversation with one of my mentors that had orchestrated this weekend retreat. And I was telling him about Da Vinci and the Vitruvian Man and the Golden Rule. And he had discovered the measurements of the body that from the tip of the middle finger to where it meets the palm of your hand is the same distance from the base of that finger to the wrist across your palm. And then from the tip of that finger to your wrist is the same distance from your wrist to your inner elbow, and that your foot is that same distance. The Golden Rule is a universal rule, but the measurements are unique to everybody.
Yeah.
And you can't take the measurement of your finger and palm and apply that distance into someone else's inner wrist to their inner elbow, because it won't match. The measurements are only work on your own body. They don't work on other people. Now, I went to another class where they talked about all the body parts have all these different meanings. And so say your measurements aren't equal somewhere. A body part like your forearm is longer than that width. Well, this body part serves a purpose. So if that's longer, what is that information entailing? So in essence, your body is not only your body as in your tool to experiencing this life, but it is also a instruction manual as to gifts, talents, strengths, weaknesses, things to focus on because you're innately great at it, things to focus on because you're going to want to strengthen this. And so, I mean, going through the classes that I went through to discover that information, it was just like mind blowing. We have, we joke when we have children, if only they came with an instruction manual.
Right.
And literally we do, but this is information that's been lost throughout the centuries. This is information that indigenous people of old times throughout all the earth, not just like Native American, there's Celtic, there's Aborigine, there's African, every people had a knowledge and awareness of information like this. Maybe not this exact context and way of understanding it, but we've had information. I've also gone and had a birth chart reading by a woman, and she started the session off with saying the exact time and day that you're born in 2,600 years, no one has ever had this exact moment. Even twins are born a minute at least apart. And so within that minute, the heavens have changed and shifted so that all of this content that I was receiving was unique to me. And it was a wealth of information. And so above, we're provided with content. Below, we're provided with content. Inside, we're provided with content. There's cultures that when a mother became pregnant, she would discover the song of the child, and then she would teach the song to the father, that was the sound of that soul. And then they would teach it to the tribe so that they could sing that song to the soul to help that soul know who it is and remember who they are.
That's so beautiful.
And I think it's the Aborigines, when a woman would feel the quickening, which is to say the first signs of movement from the baby, she would go to the medicine man and they would discover the ley lines that were present at that time on the earth. And that soul was supposed to be responsible for assisting those ley lines of the earth. So we have all this information that for so long has been dormant, and I would hesitate to say lost. It's just it was dormant for a time. That's now returning and being restored, and people are discovering it. In some ways it's through science. They're kind of coming in a total different way, and in some ways, like I've gone and taken shamanic classes. Not that makes me a medicine man or anything, but shaman meaning of the earth. And I'm learning things of the earth and how the earth, it is our life, and without it, we have none. So to understand our relationship, we're returning to the old ways. There's many different prophecies about it. In fact, my husband and I, we were discussing that this weekend with the group of people we were with. In the Native American traditions, there's several tribes of people, the Hopi, the Lakota, who have these prophecies of people returning to the ways of the earth, returning to the old ways. And excuse me, that we would become so sick, excuse me, that we would
I'm going to let her take a drink really quick. While she's doing that, I just want to remind you all that the phone lines are open and you can call us at 85KGRA Live, which is 855-472-5483. Misty receives her information spiritually and intuitively. This information is received as thoughts, feelings, emotions, pictures, images, and angels. And so she's able to do quite a bit with her abilities. So if you have a specific question, she might not necessarily get an answer that way because that's not the way the information is received. You can ask and she can fill on it, but definitely general reading is what is the most magical in my opinion, because she can read the energy that's in and around you, and it's the most beneficial way to assist you. In the meantime, we do have a caller on hold that we're going to be bringing in, and let's welcome Dave from Hudson Valley.
Yes.
Hi,
How you
Dave.
doing?
Are you here with us?
Yes, I am. Am I coming through?
It looks like we have a challenging connection right now. You're underwater.
I'll call back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's something we need to have you call
I'll try.
call back
Yeah, I'll do that.
again if that's okay, because I don't even know if you can hear me. Misty has stepped away for a moment because she's having a challenging time. But she'll be back. In the meantime, I've shared with you several times that I receive a lot of emails. You guys blow me away with the amount of emails that I get. If I haven't gotten back with you in a timely manner, just be patient with me. I do hang out at a space called Vibes, Mind, Body, Spirit during the day that I co-own and manage, and I'm able to help so many different people in that space, which does take a lot of my time. That and this are the greatest passions that I really have the best life. But with that being said, emails, be patient with me. However, I did browse through some of them today because a lot of my emails are questions that you have from past shows, from just your own experiences of what you're going through, or you just want a deeper explanation of the topic that we talked about. And so there are some specific questions that I pulled out, and I wanted to ask Misty, but we will just ask a couple of questions and I will do my best. I love that you guys write me. A lot of these questions are something that you can find directly on Google or whatever the search engine is that you choose. And that's great that you want to email me and connect with me that way. I love sharing my experiences and my opinion, but also do the research and see what feels good for you and resonates with you, because like we were discussing earlier, it really is a personal journey. This journey is yours and yours alone. And although Misty may give you some great advice, you may hear some other great advice or inspiration or motivation through other guests, other shows, books, podcasts, wherever you're receiving that, it still is your journey. So I highly recommend that you feel what is best for you. I know in my own personal experiences, in the very beginning, I'll be completely honest, I was naive. I had a spiritual awakening. I didn't know what was happening, and it occurred through an NDE that I experienced. And I, before that, didn't really believe in anything. I didn't believe in spirituality. I didn't believe in a creator. I hoped that there was something bigger than me, but when it comes to that, we all go by faith. Unless we feel in our experience, we just know, right? And I hadn't had anything happen in my life up until that point that was I know this is true for me. And when that happened, it was very, very, very dark afterwards. You feel like you're going crazy. You're losing your mind. You're not sure what's real, what's not. You ask a lot of questions, like what's the purpose of life questions, and how do I do this, and what does this mean, and you just hope and long for something that is just going to come and smack you in the face, because you're really all over the place. And I'm sure if you've had a spiritual awakening or an experience, you know that it's a whirlwind. So you ask a lot of questions, right? And so that's what a lot of our listeners do. They ask a lot of questions. So I'll answer what I can through my experience, but again, please do your own homework and really do the research for yourself, so you know for you what's right and true, because nobody will know that better than you, right? So this question specifically isn't I mean, you can find this information again on your search engine, but one of the biggest questions I get regarding Misty is she a psychic or a medium? And Misty's not either. She reads energy, and it's not really the same. She does have abilities to be psychic and medium, but her expertise is in energy reading, being an intuitive, listening to those bits of information she receives as songs or quotes or her own emotions or pictures or whatever that ends up presenting itself as with Misty. So a medium is actually somebody who can communicate with your loved ones who've crossed over, or possibly even connect with your angels and guides. So if you haven't quite established that relationship with them, you don't know what they look like, you don't know their names, something like that, that's something that they possibly could do. Another thing that mediums do is share messages. So I think I said that, share messages with your loved ones. So if you have someone who's crossed over, show up in that time and space and want to share a message, they're able to do that with you through a medium. A psychic is more about someone who, I don't want to say like a fortune teller or someone who could predict the future, but they're similar to energy readers, I believe, in a lot of ways, because they're able to see things that you can't see. So that can look and be a lot of different things. And again, I just really recommend that you do your own research and see if you feel like you have either one of these abilities. With Misty being an energy reader, a lot of times she can pick up that you have a clairability of some kind. Clairability is another question I get asked a lot. There are several clairabilities, like clairvoyance, claircognizance. Again, that's something that you can find out more about by searching. I don't want to just ramble on a bunch of things you guys probably already know, and these are just really specific questions to the emails that I've received. It looks like I do have a question from Ronald in the chat room. What is the best all-around crystal for healing and energy and protection? So, Ronald, there are so many crystals, and this is my favorite thing, one of my favorite things to talk about. I've done crystal healing and energy healing for it's been about 8 years now. I have this huge passion for crystals, and a lot of people think it's woo-woo. They don't understand that the energy really does assist you mentally, physically, emotionally until they have an experience with it. I can tell you what my best crystal is for overall energy and protection, but it's going to be different for everyone because we're all made differently. Our energy is all different. Specific crystals are for specific things, yes. Like you could say black tourmaline. It's very protective, very grounding. But it might not be for someone else, someone who's really sensitive to energy. It might give them a lot of anxiety. And so the fun thing about crystals is you get to play with them and see what resonates with you. If you pick up a crystal and your hand tingles or it gets hot, it's communicating with you. So for protection, there's black tourmaline, like I said, there's black obsidian. Tiger's eye is very protective. Bronzite is incredibly protective. Bronzite's one of my favorite ones. If I ever go out on investigations or home clearings, or I am going to be at large events, I always bring the bronzite with me. Keep it on my person. It's the best way to carry protection with you. Is just pop a crystal in your pocket. And the bronzite specifically is great for if you're going into a space like when I have done investigations, if an energy is specifically trying to affect you negatively, like sending you negative energy in thoughts or physically, mentally, any of it, then this stone is said to deflect that energy and go right back to the receiver. So it doesn't affect you at all. The black tourmaline, the black obsidian, the tiger's eye, there's smoky quartz, there is onyx. Those are all really good protection. And I'm not sure what you mean by energy. All stones carry energy and healing energy. So it just depends specifically. Ronald, if you have a question of something that you are experiencing currently that you would like me to recommend some stones, send me an email or you have me on Messenger and I'd be happy to do that for you, list some out that would be beneficial for you. Before we break for the top of the hour, I would just like to remind you all that we are hanging out on kgradb.com. You can join us in chat on Discord under KGRA Digital Broadcasting, and I hope you do so. We have amazing wanderers in the chat room. Thanks to everyone who's hanging out in there and rolling with the adjustments. We appreciate you so much. When we get back, remember the phone lines are open. You can give us a call at 855-472-5483. And when we get back, we'll continue our wandering with Misty Rose Merck. We'll see you soon.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome to the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, thekgradb.com. Here you'll find great new content, including the KGRA Classics, great shows from our archives. You'll be able to see the show times and information so you can see what show is currently on air. The on-air live button. So just go to this section and you'll be able to hear the show live with exceptional sound quality. We also have the Vault section. Make sure to subscribe to get access to great content and special features. We have the make content for our latest news and events, so make sure to sign up and you can be part of our forum. So make sure to check out the new KGRA digital broadcasting website, the KGRADB.com. We look forward to seeing you there, and we hope that you enjoy the new website.
We are live here on KGRADB.com. Thank you for joining us. You are listening to Soul Wanderings, and the time has come that we have moved our program over here to this platform, members area. If you have not picked up your membership yet, I encourage you to do so. And when you do, you can use the special promo code SOUL, SOUL 21. Soul 21. And by using this promo code, it allows you to receive 30% off your annual membership. And once you're in, you'll have exclusive access to all of the KGRA audio and video archives, as well as special presentations, video interviews, series, and upcoming digital specials and conferences. KGRA is all over the place. You have no idea. So there's going to be a lot of goodness behind the scenes in the members area. So to all of our current members, thank you for joining us here on this great platform. And to those of you who are interested, now is the time to grab yourself a monthly or annual membership. Be sure to use that promo code SOUL21 to get 30% off right now for the annual, which is your best option for your investment. And if you do choose to choose the monthly option, you can use promo code WANDER, WANDER. So come and join us. And thanks for all of our members for supporting KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Tonight we have the phone lines open and we're taking calls for readings. We're taking calls for questions with our guest, Misty Rose Merck. Hold on just a moment. We're actually having a little sound thing. So we're going to try to receive the calls tonight. If for some reason we can't, type your question in chat, or if we know who's calling and you want a reading, we may be able to try to do something. Is that something we could do, Misty, if we just had a name? Or would they need to call in?
I'm game.
Yeah, we can try. So if for some reason we can't get the phone lines to work, just type your question over in Discord at KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Or if you'd like a reading, just say, hey, I'd like a reading. And Misty will do her best to do the energy reading that way. In the meantime, welcome back.
Be very interesting.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yes.
I was like, Misty, you totally put me on the spot. I never do the show by myself. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully I was of some help to all of you. Talking to yourself is one, like, I know you all are listening, but I'm in the room by myself. That there's something to be said about doing that. And kudos to all of the hosts who have a show all alone. You guys are bomb. Because I like having guests. Tonight proved that. Okay, so we do have Dave from Hudson Valley on the line. He is a return caller. The sound is still not coming in correctly. And and you've connected with Dave before, so he is interested in a reading.
Okay. So, what is the question?
He doesn't have a question. He's just looking for a reading. And then there was silence.
Yeah. So, what it feels like is, I feel like I've talked to Dave about his intuitive gifts. This is really interesting without feedback. He'll have to type you if the things are correct for him. But it feels like...
Oh, it looks like it's up and working. Dave, if you want to call back, please do so. It looks like they've got the issue corrected. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying is I feel like this is someone that I was talking to about their gifts. It feels like the conversation was around, he was doing some processes on his own, and then this is really interesting. But there were some processes that he was doing on his own, exploring his gifts. It feels like some sort of energy work. And then we were discussing gifts that he was trying to discover. Anyway, I think in a situation like this, it's going to work better if we have a question to answer.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure blind.
Well, it's just I feel, but it's just harder.
No. Oh yeah, for sure. We just got to try, because that's the way it works, right? We just roll with it. We just have to roll with it sometimes, and technology fails us at times. That's just the way it goes. So, Dave, I'm not sure if you're in the chat room over on Discord on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, but I'd recommend you go over there if you have a specific question. Fantastic. That would be the best way. If not, we'll get that issue resolved. And next month when Misty returns, we'd love to have you call back. In the meantime, if any of you have questions, you can also chat them in Discord.
Now, if they have a question that they want as a reading and a question with a focus, I think that would work. But just to try and go for a general read without having the ability to get any feedback, because that's how I know if I've tapped into the right energy.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're rolling. Yeah. We're rolling with it, and it's all good.
And I like the way Ray said that time, that's live radio.
Yeah, that's live radio. Exactly. And that's the way it gets to be. And at least we're here. So that is fantastic. I'm going to have you answer some questions. I received some questions, and I was talking about them when you had excused yourself. I was saying in chat room, you guys, I'm so good at rambling. If you put me in a spot, I'm going to be like, and this is this, and that is that. And I'll just ramble on. What's your interpretation on the difference between a psychic and a medium, and how is an energy reading the same or different?
So as I understand mediumship, being with a medium, and those are people that I think in today's day, we see a lot of them on television and with radio shows. Mm-hmm. Those are people who are able to sense and perceive those who have passed on, and more importantly, those important people to us who have passed on, and being able to convey information that I really feel each of us is able to perceive, but we may not be aware of that ability, and we may not be willing to or be able to see and recognize the forms of communication and the signs that they send us. So I think a medium kind of acts a little bit like a soul interpreter. They're conveying that which we're not able to recognize easily. And sometimes they help us be able to then have a continued conversation thereafter, because we can then recognize the signs, the symbols, and the means in which those loved ones are conveying information to us. But I believe all three are working with the same source or content. It's just the vehicle that they work with that energy is kind of how things are different. The same way a boat is different from a car, and a car is different from a plane.
Right.
A psychic, in some ways, it's become such a tainted word. And it has a lot of negative connotations because there have been so many people using and taking advantage. But I think a lot of people turn to a psychic because they want to know the future. They want to know answers. And sometimes it could be, will I ever get married? Or, will this problem resolve itself? I think that it involves a little bit more that they can offer, but I think that's kind of how people approach a psychic. And I feel with the readings that I do, sometimes there's a little aspect of all of those things involved in what I'm doing. But I've also seen that in a medium where they'll talk about some things that are coming up for a person and relationships that can enter their life, because that's what's being conveyed to them through their loved ones that have passed on. I've seen a psychic, who sits and talks about your grandma's here. So I feel like it's almost, we're all wearing a different title, but doing a lot of the same things. Now, I can pick up on energies at times of, I feel a grandfather energy or a grandmother energy or a little child energy, but I don't have the skill where I've seen mediums go, your Aunt Susie, she's just puffing on that cigarette and telling the dirtiest jokes, because that's how they get stuff. They get that in detailed information, and the way they describe it is so that you can recognize that's really your loved one. For me, it comes across as general, and then I get messages and information. It's not that I don't, like, in a psychic way, like, I can feel at times things that are coming along for a person and opportunities. Is that guaranteed? When I was having my birth chart reading, she said it in the most beautiful way possible. You have all kinds of choices. I don't know what you're going to choose exactly. I just know that this is available to you. And so, but unfortunately, in the realm of energy work, a lot of people feel like if that exact thing doesn't happen, then it was all shenanigans, because there's all of the negative connotation from people using in things. But the context is, you have limitless choices, and just because you can see the view of the ocean doesn't mean you're ever going to turn around and look at it.
Very true.
So in an energy reading, I feel like it gives me a little snapshot into where you've been, where you are, where you're going, what's come up for you right now, what's kind of going on, a little bit about who you are, gifts, talents, strengths, weaknesses, things that you've experienced, choices that you can make, dynamics of relationships. There are times when I'm talking to people and they've got things going on in their relationships, and so information about the other individuals start showing up in the session because it's relevant to them and what they're going through.
Right.
So, I mean, it's easy and complicated to explain all at
Yeah.
the same time.
Absolutely. I've noticed with readings, just in general, I'm not talking about yours specifically, but in general, I've had so many readings. If you let go of the expectations of a desired outcome, your reading will be that much more rich for you. I just an observation, just wanted to share that. We have a new reader at Vibe. She's actually a psychic medium. I did a reading with her. In fact, I'll have to have her on the show. Talk about detail of information received with my loved ones who have crossed. Like great detail. Smells, the way they look, the way they talk. That would definitely be a medium. And I was just blown away. I love those types of readings too. Knowing that my loved ones are there, having the validation and confirmation. But like I said previously, at the beginning, when we were initially talking before the first break, the type of readings that you offer are the ones that have enabled me to grow the most, because they have been informational, inspirational, and motivational, and holding a mirror up for me to see things that I couldn't see is such a great teacher. I love that you have that ability, and I'm so much in gratitude for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I will say I have had the opposite, where I have people come and they're so afraid to focus on something specific because they might miss out.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I've told people is I'm not an 8-ball. If you shake me,
Yeah.
I'm just going to get sick, because sometimes they come and they're like, is my child a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't quite get information.
I have
that
like
way.
a 98% success rate with those questions. I do with my pendulum. I literally like 8 out of 10 times will get it correct. It's energy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did have Dave join us in the chat room. Dave, thanks for joining us. He's going to hang tight while we go through this experience. So if you do have any questions, he'll reply here in the chat room. If anyone else is interested in hanging out with us in the chat room, you can hop on over to kgradb.com. It will guide you to Discord, to the chat room for KGRA Digital Broadcasting. We'd love to have you there. In the meantime, Dave's question is, I'm going on a vision quest kind of odyssey soon. I am beginning a new chapter of my life. What is important for me to know right now? He's going on his own. And we'll have to thank your husband for asking him to specifically share that.
I feel like he's been on a self-discovery journey for several years.
Yeah, it feels that way when he calls in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's done a lot of work, and he's made a lot of shifts. He's discovered a lot about himself. But it feels like there's some aspects of gifts that he has not fully awakened to. And the thing that's going to create that awakening, because I feel like that's part of what this process is for him, is to come into deeper knowledge of self and more fullness of understanding his gifts, and then how to engage with them and use them. I would ask him to validate if that's correct. And then in order for all of that to unfold, it's key to have complete self-trust in as much as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because fear is going to slam the door shut. Trust is going to blow it open wide.
Yes.
And I say it this way because I think even though he's walking in very open, there's a part of him that has expectation on how some of it is going to look. And being in trust is going to put him in the position to see it as it is for what it is. And from that place, gain a greater understanding and awareness than he can have from expectation. And expectation is going to make it extremely difficult. Expectation without self-trust. But expectation is going to be a very big hindrance and a block to him gaining what it is he's seeking through this process. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. He did validate and say yes. He needs to take his gifts to the next level and to find trust.
Yeah. Well, it's not finding trust. I'm going to say it this way. We always have a choice. We're faced with choices, and a lot of times the choices available are none that we want, but we always have a choice.
Yes.
I got that from Dangerous Minds. That's a movie.
It's so very true, too.
Yeah.
We might not like our choices, but
Yes.
we still have one.
But the choice to trust is always there right beside the choice to doubt and the choice to engage with fear. Trust is a magical key that can open anything. The other component to this is self-love, which I feel is something that he's been working on, but more so from the perspective of self-acceptance. And it feels like moving to more of self-love, not from trying to accept, but simply loving the way you would love a child, not because you're trying to be accepted or accept them, but simply because you desire to and you want to engage in that loving connection. And that's the aspect that is going, the self-love is going to be the ground, the firm ground he stands on. Self-trust is going to be the key, and then things will open, and he's going to have quite the magical, beautiful experience. Engaging from those places. Expectation and fear and doubt is going to be it's going to be a monkey playing havoc with his mind and emotions. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me for sure. Hopefully that assisted you, Dave, in what you were seeking as far as an answer to your questions. What's the difference? You said self-love and self-acceptance. There's a difference.
Self-love can create self-acceptance. But they are different things. I feel self-love. There's a difference in our approach when we're looking for acceptance and when we're looking for love. Those two things can walk hand in hand, but they don't always go together either.
Very true.
So they're different energies and different vibrations and different emotional experiences. So, if the journey has been motivation has been to gain self-acceptance, that is an important thing, and it is a beautiful thing. And it's a different thing than self-love.
Oh, that makes so much sense. He said, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Before we started the show, Bill said, there was a comment actually in YouTube about Misty's on all of the time, which is great, but she should be the one interviewing AJ. That would be interesting. We may, maybe one day, we'll see. That's putting me on the spot. This is going to put me on the spot too, because the phone lines were open and I had no intention of doing this whatsoever. When Bill said, Misty, why don't you give AJ a reading on air? I immediately said, no, let's not do that. And now that the phone lines aren't working, I'm kind of wondering if it's a sign, because I decided to not be vulnerable enough to have that experience with you. And I'm sitting here feeling how hypocritical that is, because I have so many of you who have continuously shown up vulnerable here in the chat rooms and by calling and by sharing with us, that maybe if you're feeling it, you could do that for me. Do you feel the resistance a little bit?
I would ask you.
I'm going through growing pains. I'm going through growing pains right now. Let's be honest. I'm a very private person. And so
it's a big deal.
Very few people know the depths of who I am. And not because I masked or guarded in any way. I am selective on how I spend my time and energy and who gets those pieces of me, right? But all is fair. All is fair. So here we are.
Oh, I would say it. I'm more than game. It's are you?
I am totally game and ready to do this live on air on Soul Wanderings.
Okay.
How could I not, right? So much gratitude I have for my listeners. We'll just say that. And I keep looking at Misty. This is so hard to look directly at the camera when she's sitting right here with me. Sorry, guys.
I know.
Everyone shows up so good for me. And I am here and I am showing up authentically as myself. But you see me as a host, and of course I'm a human being, but I'm going through things, I'm growing through things, I'm having experiences, and I don't share them very often. So I just feel like of all places I could do this and show up in gratitude for others, is I can show up as myself in a very vulnerable way. And this is terrifying to me. For everyone to hear, but I'm ready. I've thought about it while the phone lines have been down. So yeah.
Okay.
Misty really knows me. So, and I'm getting tons of comments in the chat room. Thanks, guys. You're awesome.
Yeah, they are.
They are so awesome. And each and every one of these guys have called in. So
yeah, you have created quite the community, and it all comes from the amazing person that you are. So to sit and say they're an amazing group of people and negate that you are a huge part in that, this amazing group of people has been able to come together because you've created a platform and held space. And so, AJ, I feel like you've grown so much leaps and bounds since when I first met you, because you have been willing to dive wholeheartedly into being vulnerable. And I've watched you go level by level by level. And each way that you've gotten there was because you were willing to step into vulnerability. It didn't come because you were determined enough. It started because you were willing to be vulnerable enough. And then you marched forward because you chose to be determined enough. And all of these things have unfolded. One of the most magical qualities about you is your ability to create and hold space, which in some ways is to sit and say, you open yourself up to source in such a way that a powerful force of energy is able to flow through you into this world. And then you bring forth a manifestation of that energy and you hold space for it. Not just for it to be present in you and in your life, but to be present for everybody who is willing to receive of it. You hold space and anchor in this world energies that are healing, soothing, and growing, expansive energies. And I have been seeing this happen in different places and different people. Every human being has the potential to be a conduit this way, but few people are choosing. And you're not just choosing once or twice. It is a continuation for you, a continuation of growth, expansion, hold space, anchor, growth, expansion, hold space, anchor. And I know once during one of the Vibes birthday events, I told you it was like seeing a lotus blossom opening up in your heart space. The way you were allowing this flow and growth of energy through you into the space of what you were creating at the time. And then how many lives are then blessed? What I feel kind of is coming forth to take you to that next level of progression, because you've been in a resting pattern for a lot of reasons, not just like the physical healing and everything, but because you'd been doing so much for so long and then had dived into such a deep level of inner work and inner healing that you came into a rest phase, which has been very beautiful because you've stepped into more joy, more dream, meaning having dreams and then enacting those dreams. So that's like your bath salts and all of those other things. You've given yourself permission to create your dreams into reality. And that's been a kind of physical work, but it's also been a playtime. It's brought you into your heart more.
Yes.
And you've re-engaged with parts of your heart that you had kept very tight. The way you would hold something dear and precious that you felt a little concerned of losing, which is the relationship like with your grandmother and other important relationships and experiences. And you've opened your heart up and gone into that and reconnected because you've stopped being afraid of losing it.
Yes.
And then that's then given you the permission to engage with your dreams. And then in excitement and enthusiasm, you started creating. So it's like now this rest phase is coming to an end, a season to all things, and you're coming back up into a work phase or a growth phase, an expansion phase. And the step for here is the vulnerability of allowing other people to reciprocate at the level of which you give. And that is one of the biggest vulnerable places for you.
Yes.
Is to receive that big. But the thing is that's taking you up to a whole different level of creating. The way that we'll use the example of the way that you've created Vibes. This level of creating is so much more expansive. And it's where you have the ability to step into a level of flow that your ideas become more crisp and crystal clear, less foggy edged. And then the ability to connect with how becomes a little more effortless. And then manifesting those things become a little easier and quicker. And I don't want to say easier, simpler.
No, just I think less time consuming.
Yes. Things start coming into less effort and more enjoyment.
Alignment.
Yes. And so that's what that level is up here. But in order to create and play at that level, it's moving from a garden hose to a fire hose.
Yeah.
your capacity to allow things to flow through you must expand. The way for that to happen is for you to be willing to receive in proportion or even greater than what you give.
That has always been a challenge for me. I will give and give and give and give, and I am in the process of learning to receive. I have done so good this year in comparison to my past experiences, and I know it will get easier over time. The beautiful thing is, I was having a conversation. It was a couple of years ago, and it didn't even resonate with me until recently. I was actually going through chemo, and I didn't tell anybody other than like my son, my mom, my dad, like close people, no friends. I think maybe one friend, I don't know. But I didn't tell anybody, and I insisted on just doing it by myself. I wouldn't let anyone go to my appointments with me. I wouldn't let anyone come over to my house and see me sick. I wouldn't accept meals. I just did everything. Well, I didn't do it by myself, but my son was young. He really didn't have to help me, but bless his heart, he did. And those who knew were there, but it was after the fact that I told people what I had been through. And the response to that was not what I thought it would be. They weren't relieved that they were relieved I was doing better, but they weren't relieved that I took care of it and everything was okay. They were disheartened and they were disappointed in me because I didn't allow them a space or a platform to serve. And I realized the joy that I took away from people, and it broke my heart. And someone in that moment had said something to me that didn't resonate until now, like I said, which was, when you deny others of blessings, you're denying yourself of blessings, and vice versa. And the last thing I ever wanted to do was take away someone's joy or blessing or opportunity to serve. And I did that, not understanding the big amount of energy that was. And so since then, since I've been more aware that that is something that I have done, I have chose to be more gracious in my receiving. Even though it has been completely challenging, I want to be able to receive as much as I give. But I always want to give more.
Well,
that's just where I'm at.
Giving puts us in a place of control, and receiving puts us in a place of vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Receiving, especially in the situation you're describing, is being extremely emotionally raw and vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if I've always felt like it was weak to receive.
There is that
and
element.
I never want to be weak. And so I feel like that was a big thing for me. I had a procedure done 7 weeks ago. And I only told a handful of people again. I did it again because, it's just a really private thing anyway. I was out for a while, and I had the opportunity for you to show up for me, and it scared me. And we had the best time. We hung out all day, and you were in so much gratitude for allowing you the opportunity to be there for me. And I was in so much gratitude that I had someone there for me. And that energy, that amount of love, that type of receiving is something I would love to continue to do. And you've been such a big teacher for me in that. And my gratitude is limitless to you for that. I also had another friend, we all know, Mandy, who showed up for me as well. And talk about feeling an intense amount of love. I don't even have the words for it, but so much gratitude. And I'm so thankful for you teaching me how to receive, how to be loved. It's so good. It's so good. And I'm so appreciative. That doesn't even cut it. But thank you for sharing all of that with me.
I'm going to describe kind of giving and receiving and being out of balance with it. And in this analogy that I came across from somebody else, I mean, it just created such a crystal clear picture. There's the Sea of Galilee, which is teeming with life. And then there's the Dead Sea, which is dead. The water that flows into the Sea of Galilee flows into it and out of it. And that same water flows into the Dead Sea, but it only flows into it. Mm-hmm. So when we get out of balance and we only want to give, then life is all about balance. And it doesn't care if it creates two imbalances, so long as those imbalances then create balance. Mm-hmm. So if we're only giving, then we're going to be surrounded by only takers. Mm-hmm. And what that ends up creating is two dead seas. And when we are in balance, where we give and receive well, we're teeming with life. And we're then surrounded by other people who are in balance and able to give and receive well and are teeming with life. So giving and receiving isn't a situation of limited resources and, oh my gosh, what's going to happen, and terror and fear and doubt. Giving and receiving becomes this beautiful life-sustaining, enriching exchange.
Yes.
So being in only a giver for all kinds of different reasons leads to unhealth, imbalance, dead life. I mean,
very true.
But that's not just for us. It's the other people that are going to do the yin and yang with us. Mm-hmm. It's giving them the opportunity to stay out of balance as well, because somebody who only receives is out of balance, and that's unhealthy.
Right.
So if they have someone to keep engaging with, and you have someone to keep, then we can all stay stuck. We can all be dead seas, or we can rise and move through and past and beyond and come into balance, and we can all be enriched and uplifted together. Mm-hmm. Because the reality is a separation is an illusion. What happens to one happens to all, right, or happens for all.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that I bring into any session and anything I'm doing to serve another person is perspective when I do sessions. I am, with all of the gifts and talents and skills that I've developed, I'm bringing perspective, mm-hmm, perspective in a way that can help shift things to then move into balance and health and life.
Yes. Yes. And also, I've realized in this experience I've had of giving, although my intention has always been good, it has also been brought to my attention through different experiences that I've had in working on myself, how much of a trauma response giving is without receiving. Mm-hmm. And so that's been really a beautiful experience to have that awareness of my ability to give is so big and great, although there is some unconscious behavior with that as well. So, wow, the awareness is awesome. It allows more opportunity for growth.
It's the first step to healing. You can't fix what you don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
It's the
and
first step to change.
it is. It really is. And I don't think there are any coincidence in the people who come into your lives. If you have people in your lives that are making you feel any type of emotion, which all of them will make you feel some type, negative, positive, neutral, like check in, really check in with that energy and see why it's showing up for you and what you get to learn from it. Because everyone is your teacher. Every experience is your teacher. If I could say anything at all.
And it is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Life is happening for us.
Yes.
And life will always meet us where we're at.
Yes.
In its desire to help us get where we really want to be. It will create whatever is necessary to point us or poke us in the right direction.
Exactly. And I'm so in gratitude for all of it. I don't always love it, but I'm in so much gratitude for all of it. And, I don't know if it's age or just experiences that we go through. It really doesn't matter. The beautiful thing is the awareness as I've gotten older and had more of the experiences. Choosing to be in that space of gratitude, even when it's really challenging and it hurts, has brought the most beautiful, intensely rich experiences to my life. And I just want more of it. I want more of whatever it looks like within reason. Please do not bombard me with the fire hose right now. Be careful what you ask for, people. Manifestation is more powerful the more clear you are, that's for sure. So I had to really line that up. But just saying, hey, so we have Ronald, who's a repeat caller and always a supporter of all the shows here on kgradb.com. He calls in, I think, every month. And because the phone lines aren't working, he has messaged us here in chat on Discord. And he would like a general reading. I know that's a little hard for you to do, like we established earlier. So Ronald, please be more specific with the question. He did make mention he's going to Pine Bush next week, which is a big, huge gathering. That Bill is, that man, he's doing so much. He's hosting it, running it, doing all the things, hosting all the people in his home. God bless his heart. So,
that's the event happening in New York?
Yes, the one we've talked about before. There's also another event happening, and Bill just posted in the chat room, the MUFON Symposium in Vegas. And Warren, the owner of KGRA, and his team will be down there for that event. So we have Bill in New York and Warren in Vegas, and lots of good stuff happening here with KGRA behind the scenes. But going back
I just ask, can we have an event in Hawaii and I get to go?
Right. Yes, please. Even though they don't want us there, and I can't blame them. Going back to Ronald, are you picking up anything for Ronald, why he travels to New York for this gathering? Well, you've connected with his energy quite a bit, so his question is specific to the Pine Bush event, just what that could be like for him, what that's going to look like. What does he need to know? Enjoy the journey, Ronald. Don't drink too much soda pop.
I know that his comment was in regards to Pine Bush, but I'm feeling like to focus on, I think, the conversation we were having last and talking about his gifts and engaging with them. It feels like since we last talked that he's done some more. And I feel like it feels like it's been a little bit of a mixed response. where I feel like it's brought up an enthusiasm with engaging with his gifts that he's discovering recently, but it's also, I feel like, bringing up some fear or past trauma in relation to those gifts. Does that make sense? And
it makes sense to me. Ronald, please feel free to chime in and chat.
It's I feel it's important for him to continue on this path of self-discovery and learning how to address the emotions that arise as he's engaging with his gifts, kind of at step by step, taking it step by step, addressing the emotion step by step, so that he's not getting into overwhelm or confusion and doubt in regards to his gifts. Because that's why his gifts were shut down in the first place, was emotional overwhelm in regards to them. And so in order to re-engage, it means releasing those emotions that he shut down. And then as he's going on experiences like this one, things that will things that he desires to be able to engage with his gifts with will become more enjoyable, and he'll be able to be more authentic as he engages with other people, and less in his mind kind of what should, instead of being in the should I or shouldn't I, he'll be more in just being.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. He's validating everything you're saying.
Okay. Because it's the more he feels connected with his gifts, the more peace he's going to feel inside. And that's going to help him feel more able to be himself wherever he goes. And it's going to change how he engages with his experiences from the way he's done it in the past. Because it feels a little bit like, Ron, it feels like you've spent a lot of years in your life trying to make other people happy. And so it feels like sometimes that was at the cost of your own happiness. To be more in authenticity is to be able to know that you being happy puts you in a position to be able to more authentically assist people in creating their own happiness instead of feeling responsible for making that happiness for them. So I don't know if that part resonates with him or not, but that's kind of what I feel.
Yeah. No.
Because he's a friendly guy.
I'm not Ronald, but I'm sure that it's resonating.
I feel like you're a very friendly person. It's just sometimes it feels like you're not able to. It feels like you're being the friend you feel like you should be sometimes instead of the friend you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. How many of us actually do that, though?
Yeah, well, that's the human condition.
Yeah.
That would be all of us.
Yes.
Me included.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that, Misty. And Ronald, I hope that it helps you find peace and joy in your journey to New York. Just be you. Just show up as you. Everyone adores you just the way that you are. He said you got it all right on. So we're okay. Perfect. How's that for reading someone through chat? So good. We're coming to the end of our show. We just have a few more minutes here. I want to thank everybody for having patience while the phone lines were not working this time. Misty does join us each and every month where we open up the phone lines for readings. And we'll do this again next month. We'll open up the phone lines for readings and questions because we didn't get a full opportunity to do so this month. Misty, thank you for spending another amazing time with us. Thank you for my reading. I love the validation I received from you, and knowing that I'm right where I'm meant to be. It feels good.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you.
And thank you to all of our listeners. You guys, we couldn't be here without you. I hope you know that. So supported by you for my show and all of the other shows that you support. I see you. I love it. It's amazing. Thank you for supporting me and the station. And a huge thank you to our producers. And would you let everyone know how they can get in touch with you, Misty, if they were interested in a reading or energy healing?
I'm at Vibes Monthly, and
She'll be there Saturday at 1:30 if you are in the local area.
Yes, definitely.
I will be there with her.
And then my website is mistyroseshealing.com.
Mistyroseshealing.com.
Mm-hmm.
While we fill out the energy of releasing, seeing how that's a big thing, what's one helpful tip that you can leave us with as we close the show tonight on how to navigate through that energy that's occurring with us right now?
Be gentle. Be gentle with you. Be gentle with you. Treat yourself with kid gloves, especially when you're going through the hard parts. Be gentle, because you deserve gentleness. You deserve to be treated gently. And that starts with how you're treating you.
Yes. So good. Thank you, Misty. I love those words. And to all of you, please follow us on kgradb.com, not just for my show, but there are so many great shows here on this station. And we'll see you guys all next week with a new guest. Take care. Be kind to everyone.